Hi everyone, a very good evening. Today we are going to see this particular multiple bar graphs. Here we have two charts. The first chart shows the electronic gaming trends in South Korea in 2006 divided by gender and 4 age groups. The second chart shows the types of games they were interested in. So there are two particular data. So these things are interconnected. So the same, it is the activity of people in South Korea that is playing electronic gaming. So the data in the first picture is about the total share or the total percentage of gamers age-wise, that is 4 age groups, and gender-wise, that is male and female. The second chart shows the percentage of preference among all gamers. It means there were 50% of them were, or 20% of them were interested in. This is what we can see in this particular charts. So when we analyze in detail, we can say this data, this particular bar chart is a classical bar chart where we have a lot of numbers. You can see what is there in the horizontal vertical axis as well as the horizontal axis. Here also we have numbers to compare. Here also we have numbers to compare. So when we have number comparisons, we need to analyze whether this is a static data or a movement data. First of all, we need to analyze that. So whether this is a static data, yes, it is a static data because it deals with only one time frame, that is 2006. It's not dealing with 2006 or to 2008 or 2010. So it is not assessing the difference between the time frames. It is the data in one particular year, that is 2006. Here also it is 2006. So I can say this is static data. So we are not supposed to use words like increased tremendously, decreased drastically. All these things are not supposed to use here. Beware, these types of change vocabulary can be used only when we go ahead with movement charts. When we have different time frames, then only we go with increased tremendously, rocketed, plummeted, plunged. All these things we use when we have such time frames. Here we don't have any time frame. So beware that you are not supposed to use such vocabulary here. We need to state the status. Okay, this is the status there, this is the status here. Or else you can say, as the age increased, the preference also increased. You can say that. But I cannot say increased dramatically or increased tremendously or increased steeply or something like that. Those vocabulary can be used only when we are using, we have more than one time frame. Right now we are going in detail and assessing this picture. So here it is total percentage of gamers. So it is 10%, 20%, 30%, and 40%. And this is marked as male and this is marked as female. These are the age group under 12 above 30, over 30, 13 to 19, 20 to 29. And we can see most of the gamers are from this age group. And we can see always there is a male domination in all the age groups. That is the overall picture of this bar chart. First, this age group, both males and females. Most gamers are there in this particular age group. And you can see a male dominance all through the ages. You can see one more significant data. This is the least percentage of players. And this is the most percentage of players. If you can include, if it is included, no issues. Now, when we see ahead with this thing, you can say that role-playing games, more people were interested in role-playing games, and around 50% of them, half of the population, right, they liked role-playing games, whereas action 20 is under 20, around 10, nothing. So these things are becoming insignificant in front of this role-playing games. So we can say, we can summarize this as this is the age group where most players are there, and there is a male domination. Here we can say this is as the role-playing games as the most preferred game there. Now, let's start. Information on electronic gaming. So I'll paste it there so that we can information on the electronic gaming trends divided by age and gender, along with the type of game they preferred in South Korea in 2006 is depicted in the given charts. So you can say that what the data is on. The data on the electronic gaming trends. And how is it divided? By age and gender, along with the type of game they preferred. So the first chart plus second chart, where it happened in South Korea, when it happened in 2006 is depicted in the given charts. So I have not given it separate and separate. You can say in the question it is separated by 2 sentences. No, 3 sentences. These 3 sentences, I have made it 1. I don't need a 3-sentence introduction here. So I made it 1. The introduction is concise. It addresses all parts of the question. It is formal, it is concise, it addresses it gives you the overall picture of the charts. Now I can see what is the overall. We can see when we see as a whole, when we go with at a glance, in general, if you see, it's clear that most gamers were from the early adulthood age, and males dominated the total share of gamers. Overall, it's clear that most gamers were from the early adulthood. So what do you mean by early adulthood here? Because why we have said early adulthood stage? This is the early adulthood age. And why they have not said 20 to 29? It's because in overall, we are recommended to avoid using figures the maximum. So please don't use figures, whether it is numbers, whether it is year or whether it is other age group. So we are not supposed to use figures there in the overview. We are not supposed to use that. Similarly, in case of introduction, you can use numbers. And when we use numbers, you can use only years. Don't use any other figures or any other numbers other than years in the introduction. Please don't use any numbers other than years in the introduction. Similarly, we are not supposed to use any figures in the overview. There are exceptions. In the rarest of the rarest cases, we have no options. When we have no options, we have to use. But in general, we don't recommend a number in overview. So this is what we have seen, a clear-cut introduction which addresses all parts of the question, which is brief, which is formal, which is concise. The same time, we have seen the overview. The overview, we have summarized both the pictures there very clearly. Now let's move ahead with the first paragraph. As per the first chart, up to the age of 29, the preference to electronic games is seen advancing as the age progressed. Now, we have some doubts here. Why we have used is seen? Why is it used is seen? Is seen, I can see, you can see. It's not denoting what happened in the past, because you know that this thing happened in 2006. Naturally, it becomes, we use was, where, and all these past tense. Why we have used is here? Because you can see the preference to electronic games is seen advancing as the age progressed. As the age progressed, it is seen advancing. So this is what I can see. This is what clear to me. This is what is depicted. Is depicted, is clear, is seen. So all these things are referring to me and you. The reader is involved. When the reader is involved, we use present tense. Even though we have the matter as the past tense, when the reader is involved, if I am reading, if I am involving the reader in this thing, then it becomes like this. The change, we have to change the structure like this. So as the age progressed, you can say up to the age of 29, up to the age of 29, the preference of electronic games is seen advancing. Yes. Yes. In case of male gamers under 20, yes, you can say male gamers under 20. So those who are under 20 years of age, we call under 20. Both male and females, let's say both males and females. Both males and females under 12 who played these games accounted for 10 and 5 respectively. So you can say almost 10 and 5 respectively. Yes, almost 10 and 5. Whereas in case of 13 to 19, yes, 13 to 19 age group, the rate was almost its double. So this is, so the double of this thing, double of this thing. That's it. We completed one paragraph there. Now let's move on to the next paragraph. The highest proportion of gamers was from the age group 20 to 29. You can say the highest proportion of gamers was from 20 to 29. Yeah, no doubt. It's very clear. When nearly 35% of the men played e-games, means electronic games, from this group, the share of their female counterparts was exactly 10. The share of, I don't need counterparts here because I have used. So we have compared men here. When we use men here, naturally we have to use women here. So the comparison should be proper. I'll point out when we compare with males, other thing should be females, male and females. Here I have said men and women. When just 2% of females over 30 played e-games, yes, you can see that here 2% or 3%. The rate of their counterparts just crossed 10, just crossed 10. You can see there, just crossed 10. Completed the second paragraph. Now I have the third one. Turning to the popular games, role-playing stood at the top with nearly half of the gamers involved. You can see there, role-playing games. Nearly half of the gamers were involved in that. And now there is a problem. This mark wrong. None of the rates of those who were interested in. Okay. I can see it is to be noted that the rates of those who were interested in other games did not go above 20. So we can say that the rate of those who were interested in other games, which are the other games, action, strategy or turn, simulation and other. So I have written all these things in bracket. I don't need to separate this because it's not a significant matter at all. The significant thing we have discussed it. So we have in the question that we have to write only, we need to summarize the information, select the information, select the main features, summarize the information, select and report the main features and make comparisons where relevant. In such case, it is relevant to include all the data there. It's not good. So we have completed this thing. We have got a clear-cut introduction for the question. It has briefed the first topic and the second topic. In the overview, both the cases are summarized. And we have 3 paragraphs. The first 2 paragraphs deals with the bar charts, bar chart number 1. And the third paragraph deals with bar chart number 2. So we have a logical reason. See, for example, if you want to merge these two paragraphs to one, then it is possible, because I can say I have written, I have explained the first bar chart in the first paragraph and the second bar chart in the second paragraph. No issues, you can go ahead with this thing. It looks a little bit more attractive. You can separate into 3 paragraphs or 2 paragraphs, but we should have a logic for the division. So I think this is more appropriate. A 2 paragraph body, an introduction and an overview. I hope you have understood. Everyone must have understood this thing. Thank you. Have a nice day.